The 1930s were a time of great change and uncertainty in Japan. The country was in the midst of a period of rapid industrialization and militarization. This was fueled by a desire to become a major world power. Japan sought to expand its influence in Asia. However, this ambition led to increasing tensions with its neighbors and, most notably, the United States. Japan's economy was also struggling. The Great Depression had a devastating impact on the country. Many Japanese people were unemployed and impoverished. This led to social unrest and political instability. Ultra-nationalist sentiment was on the rise. The military exerted growing influence on the government. They advocated for expansionist policies and a more aggressive foreign policy. In this tumultuous environment, a young naval officer named Isoroku Yamamoto was steadily rising through the ranks. He was a man of great intellect and ambition. He possessed a keen understanding of naval strategy and a deep appreciation for the transformative potential of air power. Yamamoto's story is one of duty, conflict, and ultimately, tragedy. He found himself at the heart of Japan's tumultuous journey in the years leading up to World War II. Isoroku Yamamoto's story began in the small town of Nagaoka, nestled in the Niigata prefecture of Japan. Born in 1884, he entered a world far removed from the grand strategies and global conflicts he would later shape. His birth name was Isoroku Takano, but fate had a different path in store for him. At the age of 16, Isoroku's life took a significant turn. He was adopted into the Yamamoto family, a common practice in Japan at the time, and took on their name. This adoption held deeper implications than a simple name change. It instilled in him a profound sense of duty and loyalty to his adopted family and, by extension, to his country. Driven by a thirst for knowledge and a desire to serve his nation, Yamamoto set his sights on a career in the Imperial Japanese Navy. He excelled in his studies, displaying a sharp intellect and a natural aptitude for naval affairs. His dedication and hard work paid off when he graduated from the Imperial Japanese Naval Academy in 1904, just as Japan was on the cusp of war with Russia. The year 1904 marked a turning point in Yamamoto's life, as it did for Japan. The Russo-Japanese War erupted, thrusting the young officer into the crucible of combat. This conflict was a defining moment in Japan's emergence as a major power and a proving ground for Yamamoto's courage and strategic acumen. Serving aboard the cruiser Nishin, Yamamoto participated in the pivotal Battle of Tsushima in 1905. This decisive naval engagement witnessed the destruction of the Russian Baltic Fleet, a stunning victory for Japan and a testament to its growing naval prowess. However, the battle left its mark on Yamamoto. He suffered injuries during the fight, a stark reminder of the human cost of war. The Russo-Japanese War had a profound impact on Yamamoto's worldview. It solidified his belief in the importance of naval power and instilled in him a deep respect for the destructive capabilities of modern warfare. These experiences would shape his thinking as he rose through the ranks of the Imperial Japanese Navy. Following the Russo-Japanese War, Yamamoto's career path took an unexpected turn. He was sent to the United States. From 1919 to 1921, he studied at Harvard University, immersing himself in American culture, society, and most importantly, military strategy. This experience proved to be a pivotal period in his life. While at Harvard, Yamamoto delved into the intricacies of naval warfare, studying the latest advancements in naval aviation and the growing importance of aircraft carriers. He recognized the transformative potential of air power in future conflicts, a vision that would later put him at odds with more traditional elements within the Japanese Navy. Beyond his academic pursuits, Yamamoto used his time in America to build relationships and observe American society firsthand. He traveled extensively, gaining a nuanced understanding of the country's industrial might, its people, and its national character. This first-hand knowledge would later prove invaluable, albeit tragically, as Japan and the United States moved towards confrontation. Section 5. Wings of Change. Yamamoto's vision for naval aviation. By the 1930s, Yamamoto had risen to a position of significant influence within the Imperial Japanese Navy. He was a vocal advocate for modernizing the fleet and, in particular, for embracing the potential of naval aviation. However, his ideas often clashed with the more traditional views held by many within the Navy's high command. Yamamoto firmly believed that aircraft carriers would play a decisive role in future naval conflicts. He envisioned a fleet centered around these floating airfields, capable of projecting Japanese power far beyond its shores. His vision was met with resistance from those who clung to the belief in the supremacy of battleships, the traditional backbone of naval power. Undeterred, Yamamoto persisted in his advocacy for naval aviation. He oversaw the development and expansion of Japan's carrier fleet and played a crucial role in training the skilled pilots who would later become legendary for their daring raids. His foresight and determination laid the foundation for Japan's early successes in the Pacific War. Section 6. Gathering storm clouds, diplomatic tensions between Japan and the United States. As the 1930s progressed, Japan's expansionist ambitions in Asia brought it into increasing conflict with the United States. The two nations found themselves on opposing sides of a growing ideological divide. While America championed principles of democracy and self-determination, Japan pursued a path of military conquest and regional dominance. The situation escalated further with Japan's invasion of Manchuria in 1931, followed by its full-scale war with China in 1937. These actions drew international condemnation and strained relations with the United States to the breaking point. The U.S. responded with economic sanctions, aiming to curb Japan's aggression without resorting to military intervention. Despite the escalating tensions, Yamamoto remained acutely aware of the potential consequences of a war with the United States. He had witnessed firsthand America's industrial might and vast resources during his time there. He knew that Japan could not hope to win a protracted conflict against such a formidable foe. Section 7. A reluctant warrior. Yamamoto's internal conflicts and strategic foresight. Despite his dedication to his country and the Navy, Yamamoto was deeply troubled by the path Japan was taking. He understood the devastating consequences of war, particularly against a power like the United States. He carried the weight of his experiences from the Russo-Japanese War, where he had witnessed the human cost of conflict firsthand. The scars of that conflict served as a constant reminder of the horrors of war. However, Yamamoto was also a man of duty. He believed in serving his country and emperor, even when he disagreed with their policies. This internal conflict weighed heavily on him as Japan drifted closer to war with America. He knew that a conflict with the U.S. was not in Japan's best interest, but he was also prepared to lead his nation's navy into battle if called upon. Despite his reservations about the war, Yamamoto was a brilliant strategist. He understood that Japan's only chance for success lay in a swift, decisive strike that would cripple the U.S. Pacific Fleet and buy Japan time to consolidate its gains in Southeast Asia. This strategic thinking would ultimately lead him to plan the daring and ultimately tragic attack on Pearl Harbor. Section 8. The Day of Infamy, planning the attack on Pearl Harbor. Faced with inevitable war, Yamamoto planned a surprise attack on Pearl Harbor. He aimed for a swift, crippling blow to buy time for Japan. On December 7, 1941, Japanese aircraft attacked Pearl Harbor. The attack unified America, igniting its resolve to defeat Japan. Section 9. Legacy of a complex figure, Yamamoto's enduring impact. Isoroku. Yamamoto's legacy is a complex one, forever intertwined with the tragedy of war and the consequences of Japan's militaristic ambitions. He was a brilliant strategist, a visionary leader who recognized the transformative potential of naval aviation. He was also a reluctant warrior, a man who understood the horrors of war and desperately sought to avoid a conflict he believed Japan could not win. While Yamamoto's name is forever linked to the surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, it's essential to remember the complexity of the man. He was not a warmonger driven by blind ambition, but a leader burdened by the weight of duty and a deep understanding of the devastating consequences of the path his nation had chosen. He led with a heavy heart, recognizing the human cost of the conflict he helped unleash. In the end, Yamamoto's story is a cautionary tale. It highlights the dangers of unchecked militarism and the importance of clear-eyed strategic thinking. Despite his brilliance and foresight, even he could not escape the maelstrom of war. His legacy serves as a reminder of the enduring human cost of conflict and the importance of pursuing peace over aggression.